Hey everyone, it's Marianna and let's talk about Logan. This is supposedly Hugh Jackman's last appearance as Wolverine, and it's also a pretty different approach to an X-Men character on film. It's rated R, it's gritty, it's dark, and it's generally pretty grim. And we knew this was going to be different because of what we've seen in the trailers, but even after the trailers, I still thought this movie was darker and more depressing than I anticipated. The movie focuses on this old and tired Wolverine. He still has his powers, he can still rip people to shreds if he needs to, but it's not quite as easy as it used to be, and life has definitely taken a toll on him. He is trying to take care of Professor X, who is not doing well either, and ends up being responsible for a young mutant girl who is being pursued by some bad people. First of all, it is so refreshing to see a superhero film that is a smaller, personal kind of story that focuses on character and personal struggles rather than trying to go for the typical world in peril type of plot. Now, I'm not saying that all superhero movies need to be like this. I'm not saying that at all. I love seeing superheroes work together and have fun with their powers, and I think it would be a huge bummer if all superhero movies turned into these gritty dramas with heroes having personal crises. But we've seen so many comic book movies where the stakes are just huge and saving the world is the focal point, that smaller stories like this that just focus on a few characters are a good change of pace. And the R rating really helps with that as well because it adds a layer of realism, not just to the violence, because obviously it adds realism to the violence compared to PG-13 violence, but also thematically, Logan is a pretty adult and serious film. A big part of it is talking about how violence has consequences, and it's not just fun superhero time taking out the bad guys. They keep coming back to this theme in the movie. And there's even a moment which you may remember from the trailer where Logan picks up an X-Men comic book and says, "It doesn't happen like this. In real life, people die." It is a bit ironic that even though this is one of the main messages of the film, we still go to see it for entertainment, and I've seen people say things on social media along the lines of, Logan was so much fun and the R-rated violence was so cool, and the whole point of the film is that violence and death is not cool. Even if you're killing the bad guys, it still takes a toll on you, so it's a bit of a weird dynamic there. I personally thought that they went a little bit too far with the grittiness and the darkness of the whole thing. That's just a personal preference of mine because it is a really long movie and I felt kind of emotionally tired after it. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes of Logan being old and depressed and everything hurts for him and everything's difficult and Professor X is senile and things are generally bad. There are a few moments of humor, but overall this film is kind of a downer because I like Wolverine and it really is freaking sad to see him like this. So a little bit too long and a little bit too depressing for my taste, just taking everything into account. However, Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman are just at their best here. They had something to work with as far as character depth. They had a lot of great back and forth. I loved the two of them in this movie. And of course, this would not work if they didn't nail the casting of Laura, aka X-23, because she's a very important part of the story, and Daphne Keane is excellent. She has so much energy, she's definitely a strong presence, and she was the perfect kid to cast here. The villains were okay as characters. Boyd Holbrook stood out in particular because he was pretty charismatic, but generally, they didn't get much backstory or development. And on that note, we really didn't get much explanation as far as how we got from 2023, which is the ending of Days of Future Past, and everything seems pretty great, to just 6 years later, it's 2029, and here we are with Logan, and everything just sucks, and you know, it's not good. I felt like in a movie that was this long, they could have found a way to explore that a little bit more, and I did wish there was more of an explanation as to what happened because it hasn't been that long since everything was fine, but I guess that's just not the story they wanted to tell in this movie. Overall, Logan is absolutely worth watching if you're a fan of X-Men, if you're a fan of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It is a different, personal, emotional, more dramatic take on an aging superhero. I hesitate to say that I enjoyed it, it's just not the right word for this movie experience. I really felt for the character, and a lot of the film was heartbreaking because you care for the character, and it is a really good film, superhero or not. So I'm going to be giving Logan a solid 4 out of 5 stars. It is easily, obviously, the best out of the standalone Wolverine movies, and it is definitely one of the best X-Men movies in general. That's it for my review of Logan. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie in the comments below. If you've seen it already, let me know how it ranks within the general X-Men franchise, and let me know if any of you felt like I did and thought it was a little bit too dark. Just a little bit, but kind of still enjoyed the whole idea of having a dark, dramatic superhero movie. I'm very conflicted, as you can tell. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!